What's going on, everybody? So it's been about a week and a bit since the race, so definitely had time to like relax and shit since then. But I figured now is a good time to film my recap video, say the things I've learned, things that I know I can improve on, things that this thing needs to get improved on in terms of parts and things. So yeah, we're going to go over that. It's probably not going to be a long one because it's just going to be a bunch of talking, kind of updating, and stuff like that. All right, so we'll start with the car. The car did very well for what it is. Being that it's on stock springs, it's got good shocks in it, good bushings in it, but the height was a bit of a problem. Throwing it on three wheels quite often in every corner. Not that that's a bad thing, because it is front wheel drive with a solid rear beam, so it's kind of expected. However, it shouldn't be lifting that easily. So the good thing is I do need a rear sway bar for rally, because the whole point is to keep the back end as light and like not twitchy, but like flat. You want it to stay flat and almost allow it to rotate faster. So a rear sway bar should help that quite a bit. So that's one of the nice things that's going to help me for both types of disciplines of racing. So rear sway bar, need to get one of those. Second thing is the tires. So these are your average tires that come on the car. I actually think they're the factory tires for this wheel that came off of like an 08 Beetle or something like that. They are the Goodyear Eagle RSAs. They are not tires that are designed for autocross, I can tell you that. So it's kind of hard to see on the GoPro, but I smeared them pretty good for just doing 7 runs. If you watch the previous video of the racing, you hear them squeal like crazy. So talking to some of my autocross friends from out west and the guys who I met at the autocross here, definitely suggesting tires. They say, you know, you could probably just get away with tires and you'd be leaps and bounds faster. And I agree with that. The one thing is I'm not building this car for that, so it's not like high on my priority list to buy a set of $1,000 tires or something like that. However, I'm still going to do it, but it's just not like super high on my priority list. So those will get used for at least another round or two, and then I'll just try and work on the car and my driving and everything, and you know, work the car. The next thing, which I mean, it's pretty obvious, 2-point slow. It's not the fastest engine out there. That's not really the problem. The problem I'm having, which I mentioned in an earlier video, is the fact that it's still a automatic ECU and the clutch switch is not wired to it directly yet. So the ECU has no idea when I'm pushing the clutch in, which then causes it to rev up because it doesn't see the signal for it. So it just allows it to rev, and it causes me to jam gears a little bit. And it's actually more annoying driving on the road than it is in the autocross, because I'm only in first and second. So by the time I hit second gear, it doesn't matter anymore. But driving on the road, that's really annoying. So that's something I'm going to have to address as well. I have a manual ECU sitting over there somewhere, but I need to have it deimmobilized, and then I'm going to probably get it tuned just to give this thing a little bit more power for now, because there's things in the works with it. But right now, in terms of that specific 2-liter, everything connected to it, that's pretty much going to stay the way it is for now. So, get the wiring done, get it tuned, and then we'll go from there in terms of this specific setup. But that's all that's going to happen for that. So anyway, for that I'll add a little bit of horsepower, which will help me out, because it was fairly quick. I mean, with the pulleys and everything, like the lightweight pulleys and it's like 10 or 8 pound flywheel, it's actually pretty peppy. It's dead nuts reliable, and you can make some power out of them, but that'll be in the future. So for now, fix the wiring, tune it, get it on the correct ECU, and that should change a whole lot. And one of the last things, ooh, it's echoey in here. One of the last things I need to get figured out is the brakes. So brake pedal is a lot softer than I like it to be. It's probably about a third travel before I can actually get brake application So gonna try and rebleed everything. I have a spare master and a spare booster, which I've run into issues before in the past where it feels like it's a master, but it's a booster. It's a really strange fucking thing. But I have all the spare parts, so I'm gonna bleed it one more time with a pressure bleeder. Hopefully that fixes it. If not, start throwing parts at it. All the calipers and everything seem okay, but that's the one thing I think I really kind of didn't like when I was driving, is I had to essentially pump the brakes before every turn, or really just trust my timing with the with how far the pedal moves. I mean, the braking power, once it's working or once it applies, is awesome, even for the small brakes that the car has. With the lines and the upgraded pads, the braking power is more than enough for this type of racing, and it should be good for rallycross. Maybe not for rally, but I got upgrades coming for that too. But yeah, so just want to get some confidence in the brake pedal. Not that I know it'll stop, but I just want to know that when I go to hit the pedal, there's not, you know, an inch or so of travel or 2 inches of travel before I start feeling the actual pressure on it. So those are the things I learned about the car in the shakedown drive or shakedown race. And it's kind of stuff that you'll never really, unless you have the chance to, you know, throw it in the corners, do all that kind of stuff. It's good to get out and actually do a shakedown event race than just a shakedown drive, because you're putting the car through much different stresses and everything in a race as to on the street. As for things I think I can improve on, like I said, I need to have more confidence in the brake pedal, so that's kind of a car thing, which is resulting in me. I've learned to manage the throttle later on in the event, so that's something I already know because I'm pushing really shitty tires around, and it's just not, I don't have the grip that I feel I should have or feel like the car requires. So I started feathering the throttle through the slaloms and stuff. I mean, every course is going to be different, but just remembering to modulate the throttle properly instead of just pinning it everywhere is something I learned, and I'm going to keep getting better at throughout driving this thing. Another thing I have to work on, my hand movements. So when I was editing the video, I noticed mostly in my earlier runs, my hands were all over the place, like crossing over each other. Some of the corners, it's kind of understandable. Other times, I think I was just being a little reckless. I don't usually go that wild with my hands when I'm driving, but for some reason I was. And of course, the thing that I really need to work on is paying attention to the pylon maze that they set up. It's still new with the direction of arrows and everything, direction pylons, but I'm getting used to it, and I think next event I'll specifically focus my first run on just learning the course compared to trying to just go crazy on it immediately. So yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing, is taking my first run as an exploratory run, so I don't make the same mistakes over and over again that I made at the last one. And I think that's probably going to be a huge bonus in terms of times if I just don't screw it up. So yeah, off the top of my head, that's pretty much all I could think of for that. I haven't done a bolt check or anything on the car yet. It is up in the air, wheels are off. I will be going over that because there is some more work to do. Rear bumper's coming off soon, front bumper's coming off soon. So yeah, haven't done any of that. That'll be in a separate video. I just wanted to kind of give an update and everything about the race. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here because I've gone on long enough and it's just a talking one and there's not really a whole lot going on. Okay, one last thing. Just want to give a huge shout out to anyone who subscribed to the channel over the last month and a half or so. I'm at 73 subs. That's only 2 away from my goal. So with that being said,
smash that like button and subscribe, or don't. I don't fucking care personally. But all right, welcome to YouTube. All right, bye.